So welcome to the Sweet and Savory Classroom. For all those of you who have been on classes before, welcome back. Let's just get going. Housekeeping portion for this evening. A lot of you have been with us before, and so you know the drill. We have this guy right here. This is the red bucket, the sanitation bucket. So you probably want something like this. Bucket of hot soapy water with a towel in it. Mine's the red bucket, has commercial grade sanitizer in it. Just something hot, soapy, wet towel so you can clean on a regular basis. We'll be wiping our cutting board off often, I think, tonight, just to kind of keep things going. Next is you want to be organized. So like, here's my mozzarella making part. I've got the bowl and ingredients here for that. I've got my pesto ingredients right there. I've got the wine syrup ingredients, the baguette toast, the tart dough, so caramelized onions, etc. all down here. I've got my burners. I guess I need to get one of these guys. We'll be using it pretty soon. And then I have my recipe right there. Okay, so you want to be organized. See, that's what my whole table looks like. And I have kind of everything ready to go, and that makes life a whole lot easier for you. You ready? So we're starting with your caramelized onions first. So open up your recipes to the caramelized onions. We're going to do that first, and then right behind it, we're going to make your tart dough, or actually probably right behind it, we're going to make the wine syrup or something like that. So so go ahead and grab your ingredients for your caramelized onions. It's not a lot of stuff. So caramelized onions are right here. All right. Well, if anyone has any questions, now would be the time to ask them, because we're just going to get jamming. So I'm cooking with some cast iron. A lot of you know, some of you were with us for the cast iron series, and which was fantastic, by the way. At least that's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Turn that on. Turn that on. And so here's my cast iron pan, and I'm going to go ahead and start getting that thing hot. So I'm going to start on a lot lower temperature. Turn that on, and we are going. All right, Chad, you just missed Ted. Did you see Ted? Did you see Ted? He's gone already. So Ted and Chad are like buddies, and yeah. So there we go. Well, y'all, I don't have all red onion, so I have some white and some red, and that's just fine. It's up to you what onions you've got. We're just going to slice these things up. I'm going to a little bit of gloves. And let's do this. Oh, let me do one more. I got to do one more computer thing. Okay. Zooming in. There it is. All right. So it says to saute the onions in some olive oil, and then we're going to add some butter to them and some sugar. We're going to add a little sugar just to make them get sweeter a little bit faster, and we're going to cook them until they're caramelized. And so with that, you're going to go ahead. I've got my red onion. Now my white onion, this was some scrap piece that was left for me in the fridge from something else, so I'd have to makeshift this guy into work. I'm going to cut the end off, cut that thing in half, make sure and peel it. So that's what we want to do, is peel. Well, that one peeled easy. All right, peel it. Peel the red onion as well. And then get rid of your trash, everybody. Get rid of that trash. And then we are going to cut this one with the lines, if you can see them. The lines. They go like this. And with sound effects. And so you're going to cut it with the lines. So my fingers represent the lines right here. And so you're going to cut the same direction as the lines, nice and thin. However you get them done is fine with me tonight. Ooh, my knife just seems sharper today, and I didn't do anything to it. Just did some like the knife fairy come while I was sleeping. Man, that's nice. Okay. How's everyone doing out there? Did you have a nice day? I had a weird day. Some days like it's so broken. Like there's so many different little things that are happening that it's hard to focus and concentrate. And I really have some projects going on that I just need to like time to focus on them. We're building a new website in the background, and I'm building a new website, and it's a lot of things I don't really understand, so it takes a lot of reading and things to get some understanding. And I've just been broken with kids yelling and screaming and moving from the house and then the classroom, going to get my computer, which they told me my computer was ready. So I went to pick it up and they're like, sorry, here it is. It's ready because we can't do anything for you. Can't do anything for it. It's just dead. Dead, I tell you. All right, so my pan should be nice. My pan should be hot. I was heating it up nice and slow. I got a little olive oil right here. Now, something I didn't show you is some new people is I've got this guy. See this? This is my cooking tray. Got utensils there, squeeze bottles of oils, salt, pepper. That is something I have on all of my I keep it there for all my classes, for everything I cook. All right, onions are going in. We got some hot pan. Ooh, you hear the sizzle? Nice, nice, nice. So hot pan, onions going in. All right, and I'm gonna catch a wooden spoon here. Just give those guys a stir. Now they're gonna take a few minutes to caramelize. So oh, you want to know what else is different? Can I? So Susie, half an onion or a whole onion? Hi, Susie, by the way. And so yes, so that was pretty much a half onion. My onion was big though, and so if your onion is small, use the whole thing. All right, or if you like onions, you can use as much onion as you want to, but it's not going to all fit in the tart. So look at that guy. So y'all want some other news? I had to mourn another death, kind of in that, in a way. We have 3 chestnut trees. Big chestnut trees. I mean, 80-plus-year-old chestnut trees. Like the trunk on this one is like, it's like the redwood forest, right? We took one down yesterday. Yeah. It's a good thing it's down. But I just have mixed feelings. All the shade we lost, and it's really hard to take something down that produces something. I think that's what broke my heart. Is it produces chestnuts, but it also produces spiky burrs and needles in your socks and everything. Because where it was, it's like right when you walk in the door, and it just gets in everything. So, anyways, there you have it. So while those are cooking, let's go ahead and chop something else. Sound good? So I'm going to go ahead and get stuff for the wine syrup. Wine syrup. Everyone go get your wine syrup stuff. Mine is right here. Okay. So mine's right here. The only thing it needs to cut is a shallot. Or if you could use onion, you could use more onion if you wanted to. If you didn't buy shallot, it doesn't hurt my feelings. You could use a little red onion. So we good, everybody? So we're going to try to jam through these couple of things pretty quick. Onions should be cooking. If you're behind or you're stressing out on me, let me know in the chat and we'll get you. I will slow down. But here's my shallot. I'm just going to cut the end off, cut the other end off. Okay, cut it in half if you haven't already. If it's mine, it's already a piece in half. We're going to go ahead and peel this guy. I'm going to cut this as small as I possibly can. Super fine dice. Okay. Onions are cooking up nicely. My heat is a little high. There we go. Now my onions are starting to soften. So my onions are starting to soften, so I'm going to take the butter from for the onions and go ahead and put that in there. And the sugar. Sugar, you don't have to put sugar in caramelized onions. We just cooked caramelized onions the other day and we didn't. But it is you can, just to help speed things up a little bit. All right, so that's what that's in there for. And sometimes I like that little bit of molassesy flavor that comes with the brown sugar. There we go. So shallot. There we go. See the lines? Well, you can see the lines pretty well on that one. All right. And so I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut as thin as I possibly can. Just shave, 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 shave as thin as you can. Okay. Now it's all shaved. Look how feathery thin that is. But it's all connected. This last little bit right here, it's connected just right there. Turn it 90 degrees and then slice through as thin as you can. Look at that. Nice. Nice. Man, somebody, my wife, she couldn't have sharpened my knife. I don't even think she knows how. But man, it feels good today. And just rough chop the rest. Okay. So now this is going to just go back on my tray till I'm ready for it. We're going to cut something else. I don't know. What else you want to cut? Onions are still cooking. Just let them cook. Won't hurt a thing. Stir them every so often. Are you behind yet? Are you good? I'm just looking for a signal. If you're behind, just put up the bat signal and in the chat room, and I will adjust. Okay, I will adjust. There we go. All right, so now this is where you want to go ahead and wipe your cutting board down, because you want to get that onion juice, onion oils off of the cutting board so that you don't have that taste in your tomatoes, because we're going to cut your tomatoes next. See how nice it is to have just a bucket of, you know, this sanitizer just ready to go, ready to wipe down. Beautiful. Okay. Stirring my onions. Make sure they're not burning. Looking good. I do love some caramelized onions on a lot of my menus because I love them. What all have we done to the onions? Well, we added to the onions. The only thing we've added to the onions, Susie, is we've added butter and sugar. That's it. The butter and the brown sugar that's on the recipe is in with the onions, and that's it. Okay? Butter and brown sugar. So now I've got a bowl. This guy. Okay. And I've got a bowl, got cucumbers and tomatoes. And we're just going to dice these up. I'll show you something we'll do with the tomatoes. We don't want all that juicy water from the middle of the tomatoes. We just want the flesh. All right. All right, so we'll start with the cucumbers. And the cucumber, I'm just going to cut the end off. I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to cut it probably in thirds this way. Right. That's it. And then I'm gonna dice it, line it up, just do it all at one time. That's it. Dicing away. Cucumbers have become my new thing. I've not been a huge cucumber fan until last year. It seems like I just all of a sudden became a cucumber fan especially when I had some from our church's garden, where they were really, they're fresh and organic and just, so they become, especially when I'm trying to shed a few pounds there. I love crunchy things. So So fun fact for tonight, we like to learn a little bit. Sometimes I tell you too much about my life as it is, okay? It's like an open book. But the cucumbers, I love crunchy things. So I tend to eat lots of crackers and stuff, but since I'm trying to, cut it down a little bit, there's been a lot less crackers in my life. And but cucumbers has been the crunch I've been looking for. Right? So my onions are done, just about. How do you tell they're done? Well, the best way is just to eat one, right? You know me by now, some of you. You just take one and just ask yourself a question. Caramelized, you think of caramel, sweet, caramel is sweet. So eat one and ask, is it sweet? It's okay, it needs to go a little longer. Mine still has a little bit oniony taste, so I'm just gonna continue, let them cook. And then that's it. All right, you ready? I want you to see this. See my tomato. Oh, see me drop the tomato. So see the tomato. This is what we call a rollout. A rollout. So I want you to take your tomato. Okay, see right there is middle, right? So right there's the middle. Don't cut in the middle. There's the middle. I want you to slide to the outside. See that? So there's the middle. Slide to the outside. I want you to cut in, just barely cut in. See, I've only cut in like that far. I want you to barely cut in, and then you're gonna start to pull the tomato, like you're trying to. So you're gonna pull the tomato while you're sawing back and forth. Right? Right. I'm not cutting down to the cutting board. My knife is kind of hovering off of the cutting board, and I'm literally cutting the core, center of the tomato out. See that? There was this in the middle. I kind of cut around it. It's called a rollout. I'll show you one more time. Here's my other tomato. There's the middle. Go out to the side, cut in, and then just roll, 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 roll. I don't know if you can see down there. You can kind of see the front there. So then once you get the roll out, see all the stuff on the inside? I just want you to scoop it out. Just scoop it out with your thumb. Those are the seeds, and there's a lot of water in there. See this? Just scoop it out with your thumbs. Same thing with this. You can just use your thumbs, your fingers, get all the seeds out. Now my onions are done. I'm gonna go ahead and turn them off before they get any further. Onions are finito. Now, from here, I'm gonna get rid of the watery seed middles. I don't need it. I don't always do that, but it depends on what your purpose is, like what you want to end up with your final product. Right? And so I want my cucumber tomato salad not to be watery. I want it to just to be what it is, and so that's why I got rid of that stuff. And now I'm just going to cut my tomatoes about the same, try to be about the same size as your cucumbers. These might be just a touch smaller, but if you want it to look nice, I mean, look, about the same size. It's pretty darn close. Okay, and so that's what I'm looking for. Cut my tomatoes that same size. Turn it, line them up. There we go. Now I have the middles, and I can go ahead and just chop them up. Look at that. That's my only little piece of trash, is that core. Actually, I can cut around that too. That's my waste. Look at that. Nothing. Almost nothing. all that. Cucumbers and tomatoes, done. Go ahead and clean up. Clean up for a minute. Get your cutting board wiped down. Let's see, what else do we need to cut? You gotta cut your baguette. So everyone, you have your baguette ready? Get your baguette next. Now for this one, you want to wipe your knife. Okay. You wipe your cutting board. Get a serrated knife if you want to. My knife is feeling sharp today. I'm gonna try it with just my chef's knife. But I do want to dry my cutting board. There we go. Before I dry my knife before I cut my baguettes. We're just doing a bunch of prep work right now. Everyone doing good? I'm not seeing anyone yelling at me, so I think we're all right. That's at least what I think we're doing. Baguette. All right, so mine's already cut a little bit of angle. I'm just gonna go ahead and use that angle. I'm gonna cut some baguette toasts. We'll toast these a little bit later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just one guy, just one fella. So 6 is plenty for me. Those are up on my tray. Once again, wipe it down. Okay, I think that gets everything that would need cut or chopped done. So I'm gonna get rid of my cutting board, and you should too. At least I'm gonna set it aside in case I forgot something, because later we are gonna cut something. But I'm gonna set it aside just in case I forgot something. There we are. Now, a couple other things before we get started on this, just to make sure that you have them, is some of the other setups for tonight. I do have this big pot. This is, come on, flip over. There. Okay, I do have this big pot for my milk, but I also, on the stovetop, I have, so you can see, okay, I have a bowl of water here. This is well, I'll add a little bit of ice to that a little bit later. I also do have this pot of water. This is kind of like my backup water to help like make a bunch of cheese. And then I have my main water. This is like my main cheese water. But so I have just 2 other pots. You don't have to have this big one, but I like to have extra hot water around just in case I need it. Anyways, I figured I'd show you that because we'll be turning them on here in a little bit. And there. All right, so caramelized onions are done. And let's just give them a little. So good. So good. Well, now let's make some tart dough. I prefer gloves when I'm working with a dough like this. And so you can get gloves if you want to. But this tart dough, super good. I use in a few classes, so some of you may have done this before. Very good, easy to make, and I'm going to teach you quickly the method behind it. But for a full-on teaching of like the biscuit method, the tart dough method, that comes with other classes. This is just, you know, all my classes when I create them, I want there to be a meal. And so in this one, I was like, well, and maybe I should change that. Maybe I shouldn't worry about that. Maybe I shouldn't worry about there always being a meal. Maybe I should just teach whatever it is and not worry about a meal. But I always think, gosh, it'd be weird to come to a cooking class without having a meal of some sort. So I try to create some sort of meal out of it. So this tart dough is just so we can make use the cheese for something and make a meal. Because I don't know, I just don't want you to be hungry that bad. Nah. You ready? Here's my flour. So I've got 1 cup of flour. This is for dusting. This is dusting the table flour. So set that aside right there. Okay. And then I've got my butter, cream, and salt. Super easy. Salt and flour go together. Give them a mix. Mix them together. Then I want you to take your butter and break it up in pieces and just toss it in the flour. Just break it up. See that? I think it's a good view. All right, recipes, get out of my way. Let's do there. That's a little bigger. Okay, so my butter is down in here with my flour, and I just want you to toss it. All the little chunks, just toss them in flour. And take your hands and go like this. All right, we're just gonna flake it, just like this. So take your fingers, find big chunks of butter. Are you with me? Cool. And just take your thumb and just push those pieces into the flour so they can get covered. Right. And then you find more butter. This is called the biscuit method. Now you see my hands are up. That's important. Don't turn your hands over. You'll start squeezing. Bad news. So keep them up. Don't be flaky. Don't flake out on me. Just flake butter. Okay. And every time you flake butter, when butter is covered in flour, it won't stick. Right? So you start to get layers, right? You start to get like layer upon layer upon layer, right? And that's what we're doing. You want big chunks of butter. Just flake. You kind of press and flatten the butter, push it off into the flour. Doing this for another few seconds. I'm almost done. When you still have big chunks of flour in there, big chunks of butter, I mean, chunks that size, when you still have chunks that size, stop. It's done. Okay? So don't work it in until it's all crumbly. That's not the goal. Leave big chunks. Look how big all my chunks are. Okay? Look how big all my chunks are. That's great. Big chunks of flaky butter will give you a flaky crust. All right, so don't press into it too hard, or keep, like, all of you should stop. If you're still flaking, stop. Okay? Now, next thing we want to do is you have water and cream. So I'm just going to show you what we're just going to do it together. I'm going to add like half of my cream. Now this is way too much water. So the water, take half a cream and then half of the water that it called for, which is it called for 4 tablespoons. So take like 2 tablespoons, put in here. Like there's like 1, 2. Now take your fingers, put your thumbs away. Thumbs are not allowed right now. And just toss, 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 toss. Done. So it still looks dry in there, right? We want to do this until it doesn't look dry anymore. All right, but we don't want it to be sticky. So I'm going to take half of my cream, half of what I have left. I'm going to put in another tablespoon of water. 1. That was probably too much. Toss, 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 toss. Just lightly toss. It's going to start kind of coming together, which is okay, which is good. Do that. Now, it still looks a little bit dry. Still looks a little dry. And so I'm going to add the rest of my cream. You might end up needing a little bit more water. So I'm going to put my water in a smaller container so I don't pour too much. There's my water. At this point, it's just little bits at a time. And you want to get it until it forms a dough, like it should form a ball pretty easily. And you shouldn't have any of these dry crumbs left. That means I need still just a little bit more water. Well, I probably measured something wrong. Get a little more cream, you can do that. But there's plenty of cream and fat and everything in here. All right. So my dough has come together. I still see some dry pieces. So I know my video camera is not detailed enough for you to see it, but you want your dough to be hydrated, and if there's any dry looking crumbs, like I see some dry looking areas, that's where you want to add just another splash. Not a lot. At this point, there. At this point, you want it to be hydrated, but not sticky. But you might even see some shiny parts. I don't know if you can see the shiny parts. But mine is done. Mine's just a little bit sticky, but that's okay. It's just a little bit. And don't press on it too much. Just once or twice to get it all mixed together. So mine is done for now. Okay, mine is done for now. All right, so Susie, no worries. You can get caught up right now because I'm just cleaning my hands off. And everybody, when you get done with your dough, just give me a done in the chat room. Just give me a done. Oh, I see people in the Q&A. Sorry, I'm not in the Q&A tonight. Let's see. Can you hear no feedback here? Oh, okay. I think we got all that going on. Yes, Laura, I did add the cream. I've been adding cream and water. Cream, I've been adding like cream and then water, cream and then water, kind of back and forth until the dough came together. Okay, so that's what I was doing. Cream and water until the dough came together. I'll give y'all just a minute. For a couple of you, I see a lot of dones, but I see some people, if you're asking questions, that means you're not done yet. You know, some caramelized onions just jumped in my mouth. Funny how that happens. So take your dough. I'm gonna wrap my bowl in plastic wrap and put it in the fridge. So there's my bowl, wrapped in plastic wrap, and I'm gonna put it in the fridge. Now, save this water. We might use it for your pesto. So I'm gonna set that aside. And then in a little bit, I have my tray here with some parchment on it. If you don't have parchment, you can always just put like a little drizzle of oil on your pan and rub it on, or pan spray or something like that. But I'm gonna make our tart right on top of this. But we'll just wait. We'll wait a little bit on that. And but you can go ahead. Let's go ahead and fire up your oven, everybody, while we're waiting on some people just to get caught up. So fire up your oven. Let's do 375, 375 degrees, 375. Do that right now. If you like the hand signals, I had to concentrate to make sure I don't like mess that one up, because that would be embarrassing. All righty. Let's see, done. Laura and Susie, are y'all done? Let me know. Laura and Susie, let me know if you're done. If you're done with that, would love to make sure you're together. All right, I won't be able to do that all night, but I think for right now, I think we're in a good spot to be able to do so. All right, what do we have? What's next? What's next? Okay, close. All right. You like that? I can just disappear for a second. Like, look, ready? Ah, almost. I almost disappeared. You can still see my legs. All right. So I'm gonna make a little bit of tea. I feel like it's a tea kind of night. So it's gonna make some space. And let's try not to break something. Oh, let's make some pesto. All right, so everybody get your ingredients out for your pesto. So pesto ingredients are super simple. We have basil. That basil's not looking too hot. That's going right there. So I have a microplane for my cheese. It could be a cheese grater, a microplane, anything like that. You can even just use a peeler. You could cut it you could shave a little bit off with a knife. Any of those would work just fine, just fine. So our ingredients are pretty simple. Let me just make sure I go to our pesto ingredients. So pine nuts. So I actually have pine nuts and a little bit of walnuts just because for some reason they were mixed together. That's fine with me. So I have pine nuts and walnuts. And pine nuts are super expensive, by the way. You can make pesto without nuts. You can make it with a bunch of nuts. And so how do I just a second. Where's my little there we go. Now I think you should be able to see both me and my cutting board camera. So there we go. All right, so pine nuts, I got those in there. So it says in a food processor. You're welcome to use a food processor, but if you want to stick with me and make pesto a better way, I would love it. I would love it. So if you don't have a mortar and pestle, you can use a bowl and a rolling pin. A bowl and a rolling pin would work just fine for it. Okay, and I do that. I've done that for larger batches. We do that in class sometimes. So let's just follow the recipe. It says in a food processor or mortar and pestle, combine the nuts, the garlic. I just happen to have some garlic that's already grated up, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. So we have the nuts, the garlic, and then we need to get our basil. So our basil, just look at that. Now that's some pretty stuff. Wow, there's a lot of basil in there. So the basil, just pick the leaves off. All right, leaves off the big stems. You could use the stems if you really wanted to, but I'm not going to today. So take your basil. Oh, it smells so good. This is where the Lord is good. He just, he created these things for us. At least that's what I believe. He created these amazing foods and things for us. So basil says 3/4 of a cup. I'm probably pretty close, but I'm just going to keep going and make a little bit more. It should fit. All right, so oh wow, thanks for the tip. Maybe that's why they've been even more expensive than normal, the pine nuts. If y'all saw that in the chat room, and my wife was like, man, she's like, do you really need this many pine nuts? I was like, no, honey, whatever you think is right, whatever you think is fine. Okay, so all that's going in there. That may have overloaded my mortar and pestle. We'll see. But here's my tea. Okay. All right. So what else does it say? Oh, and Parmesan. So we need to grate in some Parmesan. An ounce grated. Finely grated. We're just gonna take that, just grate it in there. Doing good, everybody? Making some pesto. Now, some of you might have made pesto with me before. I watched this video, and you have to remember. Okay, so what you need to know about me. I didn't grow up cooking, and I didn't grow up cooking unless it was like grilled cheese and cereal. I mean, if you call putting, some milk on some Count Chocula or Cookie Crisp or Cocoa Pebbles, you can see the trend in the cereals that I like. And so, my sister and I would destroy some brownies, and we would also, make some pancakes, almost like deep fried pancakes. We use like so much oil to get the pancakes, try to keep them from sticking. Never happened. So like deep fried pancakes. So that was my cooking stint. And then, even in my culinary career, as a chef, I was most of the time, I'm grabbing some salt, by the way, salt. I'm gonna put a pinch of salt in there, a heavy pinch of salt. And um, my culinary career, it was mostly managing people, organizing things, and getting the food, like getting like banquets and stuff out. I wasn't really like, um, that's a lot of basil for this little guy. And so it's really been the past few years I really started like talking about the food part of cooking. I was more in like management and organization, and but I always loved teaching. I was always the trainer. I always train new people on like how to work their stations or cut an onion so we could get food and things prepped and done, etc. And y'all just start working it. Okay, I had a lot of basil in here, so mine's gonna take a minute. But the salt acts as an abrasive, and so the salt will help you and make your pesto work. And so what I was getting to is I watched this video of this little Italian lady, and she was teaching to make pesto, and she did it like this. She's like, this is the original way, which I agreed with her. I mean, I wasn't arguing with her on like this being the original, like the original way, but she did say she said it'll taste so much better doing it this way. And I was like, really? And so I've made this in class. We made it by hand and we made it in a food processor. Color was different, aroma was different, flavor was different. Pesto made this way is 50,000 times better than putting in a food processor. I guarantee you. Because you're bruising it all, you're breaking open all the cell walls, you're getting all the flavor out into the pesto, which is amazing. Anyway, so that's what we're doing. That's why we're doing it this way. I haven't started adding any oil to it yet. When we do, we're going to start drizzling it in, but look how much basil turned into this small thing. Now mine had a lot, so I'm just making sure it's kind of getting broken up. Trying not to destroy my knuckles while I'm doing it. And then we're going to start drizzling some oil. So I'm going to put a little oil in. If it gets too thick, you can add a little water to it. But mine's good. More oil. Now it's better if you can just like be doing this and drizzle, like just drip some oil in as you're making it. I like two hands in here. Looking good. All right, is yours coming to go? Does this go like this? I want everyone to stop. Just let that bring a smile to your face. You can't do it without just like smiling. So good. Hi, pesto. Oh, mine's good. Mine's good. It probably would have helped if I would have chopped up my basil a little bit since I put so much in, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah. So We want your pesto to be spreadable. Can you spread it? Yeah, I can spread mine. Once it's spreadable. Oh, that was good. It's done. Okay. Mine's done. You should be about done too. Okay, so set your pesto aside. Good, really good. I had just a touch too much salt to it at the beginning though, but I mean, still pretty darn good. So there we have it. Pesto is done. Now, let's just keep plugging along. If you're behind, I mean, really, you can't be behind now. You can just stop. Wherever your pesto's at right now, you can just stop, call it a day. All right, I'm gonna go put my this Parmesan in the fridge. You know, I'm moving slow today. Yesterday was leg day in the gym. Well, my home gym. And if they don't hurt. Oh, my legs are feeling it. All right. All right, so next on the list, my oven is hot. Your oven's probably hot. So let's go ahead and get our baguette toast in the oven. And do we need to turn on your waters right now? Okay. If you have the big pot of water, like my big one, I'm gonna turn my big one on. Actually, I'm gonna turn them both on. I'm gonna turn my big one on to low. I'm gonna turn my small pot on to low. And yeah. So just gonna get those just starting to warm up a little bit. So my baguettes, I'll let y'all get a second, get your pots turned on. Get those pots turned on. Now, this is one of those things that, this is where it's different. This is like where it's a YouTube video. Because everything else you can smell and taste, but you can't smell this. This is my wild sweet orange tea. It's so good. Oh yeah, I need a touch of honey though, and which I'll get here in just a minute. But this tea is great. It's decaf too. Did y'all know? I don't do any caffeine. Okay, well I drink decaf coffee, which has a little bit of caffeine in it. But as crazy as I am sometimes, you're like, he's totally on something caffeinated. Negative. No energy drinks, nothing. It's just pure Jesus in me, I guess, right? I don't know. Just, it could be. All right, are both pans of water on low? Lynn, yes, they are. Both of my pots of water are on low. Very good question, everybody. Both my pots of water are on low temperature. And now we're gonna just get our baguette toast ready to go in the oven. So I got, again, squeeze bottles. If you don't have some squeeze bottles, you should get some. It's so nice to have squeeze bottles with just stuff in it. I mean, look, I've got 2 different oils right here. I've got balsamic syrup, I've got wine syrup, all in squeeze bottles, just hanging out, ready to go at a whim. Okay, it's just great. It's like a chef's arsenal. And ooh, I should write that down. Do that. Let me just, where is that? I'm writing myself an email. Yeah, exactly. I am. I'm typing a note. Maybe I'll do a video on that one. Hey, by the way, our second YouTube video came out this morning. Did you see it? If you're not subscribed to our YouTube, what are you waiting for? All the emails say subscribe to our YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube. Our second video came out today, this morning at 9 a.m. Baguette toast. Put a little oil on them. Squeeze bottle is great. It says use a brush, but look, your finger is perfect for this small amount. Why dirty a brush when your finger can just do it for you? I like a lot of oil on my baguette toasts. I cut these a little thick so they'd be soft in the center. And crispy on the outside. We're gonna bake these. I'm not broiling them today. I am gonna bake them. I'm oiling both sides. Liberal amounts of oil. The only liberal you'll get from me. Okay. There we go. All right. Then sprinkle a little bit of salt. A little bit of salt. Pepper if you like. Do just a touch of pepper. Going in the oven. Let's set a 5-minute timer. So they're going, I cut myself earlier today, not on a knife, some darn thing just cut me. I need to put a glove on. All right, so they're going in. Timer, 5, start. Let's do that. Okay, baguettes are in. Now, what's next? Well, good question. So what's next is our wine syrup. So grab your ingredients for your wine syrup. Now today, for me, I'm not making wine syrup. I'm making bourbon syrup. I've never made bourbon syrup before, but in theory, it should be just the same as making wine syrup. And the reason why I'm making bourbon syrup, do you want to know the reason? I'll tell you the reason. So the reason I'm making bourbon syrup is because I have bourbon open. And since it's just me in the classroom, is this wrong? I couldn't get myself, knowing I'm not going to drink it. My wife can't drink it, and I'm not going to drink it right now. Like a whole bottle of wine, I just wasn't open a whole bottle of wine. But I would do a bourbon syrup because I like bourbon a lot, way more than wine. So I'm going for my liking. And that's the cool thing about cooking, is if you don't like it, don't eat it. Unless you're kids. I tell my kids they got to try everything. But for here, if you don't like it, substitute it. And I'm cool with that. So we're going to get your pan starting to heat up. Now, let's talk real quick. I don't know how many people you're cooking for, but if you're cooking for a small number of people, if you're doing like the recipe, which is like for 2 people, then because of that, you need to do just, I'm doing a small pot. Like this pot is even too big. I wish I had one smaller, but I don't. And so I'm gonna get my pan just start to warm a little bit through. I don't want to get this pan scorching hot either, because everything will just evaporate so fast, and I don't want to do all that. So what I want to do is just start to warm it up, and then let's look at the recipe. So it says saute the shallots until translucent. So I'm going to heat my pan up a little bit. I know a lot of you know saute. I'm not doing a full saute principle today because I don't want my pan to be quite that hot. So I'm just warming my pan up a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my shallots. Are getting sizzle, a little bit of sizzle. I want a very light sizzle. So secret number 2, I'm not a big wine drinker, but I do like some bourbon. If you ever want to get Chef Jeff a gift, just a really good bourbon. I mean, can I say that out loud? I do like gifts. Actually, to be honest with you, I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm weird about receiving gifts. I'm not the greatest at receiving gifts. But I've gotten better over the years. And so if it was a bourbon, I mean, I wouldn't turn it down. My birthday is not till February, so either you're late or you gotta wait till next year. All right, I just need a little bit more oil in there to get my shallots cooking. Again, I'm gonna turn my heat down as low as this thing will go without going out. I just don't want my pan to be super, super hot. Now, wine syrup is great. Making wines using making wine syrup, you can do a lot of times for wine syrup. I just do it simple with like old, like not old, but open wine that's kind of past this prime for drinking, and a little bit of brown sugar, and just cook it down until it becomes a syrup. That way works really well. This is just a different method. This one adds some like chicken stock and things to it. I'm gonna be doing just some water today, because if you add chicken stock to it, then you do need to keep this wine syrup in the fridge, and it won't last. It won't last a really long time. But just wine cooked down with sugar will last a really long time, just sitting out at room temperature. And so there, my shallots are translucent, and then we're going to go ahead and add the bourbon and the brown sugar. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my heat up. Oh, that doesn't smell good. A little bit of bourbon there. A little bit of bourbon there. All right. All right. Y'all having fun yet? I hope so. It's Tuesday. It's a different kind of day today. You know, it's not like a Saturday. It's a Tuesday. So again, it's a little different today. All right. I'm checking my baguette toast. My timer is going off. Yours is probably going off too. So there's my baguette toast. They're still soft, no browning. They might not get brown, but I want to do them until like it's just not soft on the top, right? So the top is just a little crispy. Okay. So that was 5. Let's do 4 minutes on this next time around. All right. So my bourbon. So the recipe says to reduce it by half. So that means if you start with this much liquid, you cook it, evaporate the liquid till it gets down to that much liquid, and that's about half. That's what we're trying to do. And then, yeah, and then so you add your stock and reduce it by half again. If you're doing stock, that's cool. You can do that. I am skipping that step tonight, okay, y'all? I'm skipping that one. Ooh, I get alcohol in the face. And then we're gonna whisk in the butter, coated in cornstarch. So I'm just gonna take mine down till I get rid of all the alcohol, which I'm just about there. This goes pretty quick, and you can do that. You can skip the stock too if you want to. And so I've got my butter, right? I'm gonna dip my butter in a little cornstarch. I got butter dipped in cornstarch right here. I'm turning my pan off. I'm definitely hit my reduction point. Reduction point is there. And then I'm going to put my butter that is wrapped in cornstarch in there, and we are just going to swirl it in. Now, I should have strained the shallots out already, but I forgot. So we'll do it at the end. Okay. Whisking my butter in. The cornstarch will help with a little bit of thickening and a little bit of stabilization. And then the butter will have some flavor. And then once all the butter is in, I will grab a little strainer and we'll strain it out, taste it, and see how it turned out. The color won't be as pretty as it would be if it was wine, but it smells really good. All the butter is melted. I'm going to go grab a little strainer. So, little strainer. Mine's going right in there. And as it cools, it'll get thicker. Oh, yeah. we taste it? Smack your mama. That's good. That is good. Wow. Oh my gosh. That's like bourbon caramel sauce. Oh man. Oh, that it's better than the wine sauce. I'm sorry. I just did that to you because wow, is that not absolutely amazing? I had no idea it was going to be that good. I'm just going to drink that and put my spoon in it, contaminate it. No one else can have it. And so that's mine. That is totally mine. All right, baguette toast. All right, so my toasts are crispy on top. They're not going to be brown. You'll they have a little brown on the bottom. I can flip them over. Let's see. Bottom, yeah. So I want them to be crispy, like you can feel the firmness on top. 4 minutes ago, it was still soft in the middle on the top. But these guys are looking good now. And I want them to still have a little softness in the middle. I don't want these things to be like rocks that break your teeth. All right, and so that's what they are, a little thicker, just barely have the crispiness on the outside, and then they're done. So I'm going to set them aside, and they're ready for later. Okay, for later. They're ready for me to dip a bunch of that bourbon syrup in it. Oh, I'm just gonna take. Can I just take one more little sip right now? Oh, man, oh, so good, so good. Okay. All righty. So I'm gonna get cleaned up. Give y'all a second to get your stations clean too. And then we will be moving on right along. Now, I left my oven on because the next thing we're gonna do, well, just leave it on because we'll cook our tart in a little bit once we make some cheese. I think we're about ready to start doing some cheese production. Are we? Are we? Hope so. Everything else is prepped. Yeah, we're ready. So, all righty. Okay, all right, Susie. You caught up. So we got to do the next thing. All right. How's everyone else? Is everyone else caught up? Are you ready to start making some curd? I'm looking at my stuff over here, and I think I'll give y'all just another 30 seconds to get caught up. Well, I try to resist drinking the rest of that bourbon butter syrup. Holy moly. It's just like a bourbon butter sauce. Just put that on the list of my favorites. All right. I like a chill Tuesday. I've been looking forward to this class for a while. Make sure my battery's plugged in. Let's see. We need. So let's start getting set up. Okay. So I've got my burner on, got my pot. How many of you don't have a thermometer? Let me know in the chat if you don't have a thermometer, because that I think we'll still be fine. I've got other ways, but the thermometer is definitely helpful. Okay, an instant read, cool. All right, if everyone, make sure if you've got a thermometer, make sure you pull that thing out. All right, now the other thermometer you have is this guy right here. All right, so your body temperature is what temperature? Some of you, it's not a trick question. It's 98.6 degrees. Should be your body temperature. Now, because I'm such a cool guy, I run a little cold. I run usually about 90, 98, 97.6, sometimes about a degree cooler, because that's just what they say about me. I mean, when you make a bourbon sauce like that, it's coming up. You know, it's coming. It's gonna get a little warmed up, but the crazy is about to happen. Okay. All right. I hope everyone's with me. It is time. We need to make some cheese. All right. We need to make some cheese curd because we have a bunch of stuff to do with it. So here's the thing. Get that thing off of there. Let's look at our recipe and let's check it out. Our recipe. We are going to go to fresh mozzarella, and it says milk, 3/4 of a gallon. So that's about what I've got here. Smell it, make sure it's still good. Put it in your pot. Now we're going to say a little prayer. We're going to talk about a couple things here. We're just going to, we've only had mild success, okay? Mild success with getting like a really nice soft cheese, making it from homogenized milk, all right? And some pasteurized and homogenized milk. Even when we've used non-homogenized milk, there's still some things to learn, right? But now here's one of the first things I want to talk about. So I put my milk in and I turn my heat on. Like, see that I've got my flame is on, but I'm gonna turn my heat down. Because what we found is the slower, so in cooking terminology, we have slow and fast, right? So we don't say low heat and high heat, we say slow and fast. Slow means cool, like a less heat, longer time. It's slower, you know, or fast, it means high heat. That's just what we do. Slow or fast. So we want to be slow, okay? So I'm gonna put my thermometer here, and mine has a magnet, okay? And so I need to put it somewhere where I can see it too. All right, and so I put my milk on, and we're gonna give it a stir. So what we've learned now is everyone got your milk on. Everyone have your milk on. If you don't have your milk on, you gotta talk to me, okay? And so I've got my citric acid right there. Let's get this guy out of the way so not to be confused with anything. Make sure my area is clear. So I've got my citric acid. I've got in my rennet citric acid. Look, just get it at the grocery store. Okay, citric acid. You can use lemon juice too, but citric acid. They make citric acid in 2 different ways. Of course, you can get it from citrus, but there's also a type of mold that produces the acid as well. Okay, and so let's start talking about rennet. While your milk is starting to warm up, let's first know where we're going. Then I'm going to ask Kathleen your question and some others. All right, I'll answer yours. All right, it says pour the milk into a large stainless steel pot. Check. And whisk to disperse the butterfat. Check. Sprinkle citric acid into the milk and stir well to fully dissolve. Okay, so let's do that. Here's my citric acid going into the milk. Citric acid going into the milk. Give that a stir. Get it dissolved. Okay. Now, it says while stirring, bring the milk to the flux capacitor temperature. Anybody? Back to the Future? 88 miles per hour. Come on now. Someone join me. All right. But we're going to go to 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, over low heat. So how do you know 88 degrees? Well, you have a thermometer, or you can use your finger. All right, so while mine's at 69 right now, I'll stir here in a minute. All right, so for those of you who have rennet liquid, you're in the clear. Now I think it was Chad, you have one that's called double, it's like double strength, and so we're gonna see, you're gonna use it as the directions say. For those of you who have rennet tablets, you need to cut the rennet tablet up. I don't know how big your rennet tablets are, I think they come in different sizes, but you will need to cut it up, and then you will dissolve it in water. So you need to dissolve it in a little water, and I'm sure your directions will tell you to do that. So and I'm at 71 degrees. All right. And so I'm at 71. I'm just going to feel it. It feels, when I stir, I can stir it with my finger. You know, it feels cool to the touch still, right? And so that's fine. You know, if your body temperature is 98.6, just think when it hits 88, which is, you know, 88, you know, less than 10 degrees. What is it, right? Yeah, like 8 degrees less. You know, basically, the milk will feel just about neutral. Just about, like when you dip it in, it's gonna feel like it's room temp, like it's like the same temperature as your body, pretty much. It may feel just a touch cool to the touch. All right. And so there you have it. So I'm at 75 degrees there. And then let me answer some questions. We put 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. That's fine. You're using vinegar for the rennet. Okay, cool. So you can do that. So you can use vinegar or lemon juice instead of the rennet. You're just gonna get a different cheese. So just so you know, you can use some substitutes like lemon juice and vinegar to curdle the milk. You're just gonna get it's gonna be what's called a farmer's cheese, not a mozzarella cheese, because what you're using there. So you do have 2 acids, and that's what rennet has, some acid in it. But rennet is also an enzyme. Do we need enter plus lemon, rennet plus lemon juice? So yes, Susie, if you need citric acid, which is either lemon juice or the powdered citric acid. Either one of those, they're the same thing. You can use lemon juice or powdered citric acid for this first part while we're getting up to the 88 degrees, and then we're going to add the rennet. Is everybody with me? Okay. Elaine, I don't know. I know if you're going to use lemon juice, it would be, let's see, half a cup is 8 tablespoons. You'd be about 6 tablespoons of lemon juice. I don't know if it's as much vinegar. You know, I forgot to research the conversion for the vinegar. You're probably looking at 4 to 5 tablespoons of vinegar. But I know if you're using lemon juice, it's about 6 tablespoons of lemon juice. So if you're using lemon juice, so everyone, you gotta listen to me. If you're using lemon juice instead of rennet, in place of rennet, you'd be about 6 tablespoons for this amount of milk. Okay. If you're using vinegar instead of rennet, I don't know, probably about 4 or 5 tablespoons, and we'll see what happens. Okay. I feel like it would be pretty vinegary if we do that much, but I didn't research that part, the conversion on that one, and I apologize. I meant to, and I forgot on that one. All right, so rennet tablets. I think I got everyone's questions. I'm at 85 degrees. So at 85 degrees, so we're gonna get to 88. So it says while stirring, I need to stir. While stir, I'm already starting to curdle actually, some from the lemon juice, from the citric acid, sorry. While stirring, bring the milk to 88 degrees over low heat. Add rennet and continue whisking, and we'll start to get some curdling. Okay, and we're gonna go to 105 degrees. 105 degrees. So I just hit 89 degrees. So I need to put my rennet in, which I lost my teaspoon. Okay. So my teaspoon, 1/3 of a teaspoon, right there. Okay. I'm going to stir that in. I just hit 90 degrees. Okay. So let's talk about rennet. Rennet is an enzyme that comes from the 4th lining of the cow's stomach, but only a baby calf's stomach, right? And so the enzyme, they extract it from the 4th stomach of the calf. And what's cool about it is it's the same enzyme it's the enzyme that the baby calf uses for to separate mother's milk into liquid and solid. That's what the enzyme does. It separates the liquid, the solid from the liquid. This is what's happening here, right? Curds and whey. And so it's pretty neat that's what happens. Now you can start to see mine is starting to separate in here. I'm at 95 degrees. I'm just going to keep going a little bit till I hit 105. But only baby calves have the enzyme. So as soon as they start eating grass and start weaning off of mother's milk and start eating grass, the enzyme dissipates, right? And it's no longer a part of their system anymore. So it's kind of a neat thing. Just kind of like Mother Nature at her best in that one. And so I'm at 97 degrees. Now, what we want to do is mine's curdling up, looking good in the neighborhood. I'm going to run and put my rennet back in the fridge, what little bit I have left. All right, and then everybody, if you can hear me, right? I know you can hear me, but if you're paying attention, I'll do my different voice. You want my Mickey voice? My Mickey voice. I don't have a Mickey voice. Turn your pot. I'm going to turn my pot up here to medium. My big one, going to medium. Want to start to get a little bit hotter. Both of mine are probably going to medium. My pots of water, I turn the heat up, y'all. I turn the heat up on my pots of water. All right, I'm 102 degrees. Looking good. The slower, the better. Now, you're going to start to say, well, how do I know when I hit 105? Well, stick your finger in it, and it's going to feel like right there. It feels just a little bit warmer than my body temperature, right? And so I'm getting really close, really close. We're already getting curds, y'all. Curds, the word of the day. There we go. I am at 105 degrees. I'm turning my pot off. Let me just make sure I'm consistent all the way through 104. I'm going to turn it back on for just a second. It's not all the way there yet. I started, it was a little lower. Okay. All right, I'm there. I'm going to turn mine off. Okay. So Hannah, if you don't have one large pot, that's fine. You can put 2 smaller pots on of water. The big pot is just because I like to be over prepared. I have a quote that I love from John Maxwell. He always says to over prepare and then go with the flow. So because you can't go with the flow if you're not over prepared. Okay. So, oh gosh, did we forget to put the salt in? The recipe doesn't tell you to put the salt in. I wonder where that was supposed to go. Yeah, put your salt in. Go call everybody. I grabbed the salt earlier, but I was thinking that was for something else. Now, every time I've done this, it's looked different. Okay, every time I've done this, it's looked different. This, I have very small curdles, very, very small, which makes me wonder if I put enough rennet in there. So I might go get a couple more drops of rennet to see, because like if you can see my stuff is just like super small. You know what? I'm gonna go with it. Sometimes it's been big pieces, sometimes it's small pieces. Actually, it seems nice and soft, so I'm gonna let it be. Maybe it's gonna turn out better than it's ever turned out. Okay, so salt is in, everybody. That's just for a little bit of flavoring. I don't know if it has anything to do with any of the chemical reactions going on. Good call. I forgot it. Oops. Well, we just put it in. Okay. All right. Well, mine is sat there, and mine is curdled. Now, again, for everybody, if you're worried, like you're not looking, mine is very, very fine, very small little pieces of curd. It's never come out that small before. And so we're going to go with it, and we're going to see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and pour my cheese through my strainer. And, oh, got it. Hold on. Okay. So mine looks like popcorn ceiling pieces. That's how small my curd is. Looks like popcorn ceiling pieces. Very, very tiny. And I've never had it quite that tiny before. I'm hoping it's going to give us a better end result. It's so fun the way that happens. Okay, so Laura, so everybody, when you don't have curds, please give me some info. Okay, say tell me like I've got 3/4. You know, did you do 3/4 of a gallon of milk? And what did you use? Did you use lemon juice, citric acid? Like, give me a little bit of a breakdown since everyone's been different, because some people have a lot of success and some people don't. So I need to know, like, I can't troubleshoot you without more knowledge. So, okay. So I'm pouring, yeah, I poured over an empty bowl, everybody. So I poured over an empty bowl. Okay. Okay. So 3/4 whole milk, the lemon juice. Now the lemon juice, again, I'm using, the recipe calls for citric acid, so I think you should use about 3 times the lemon juice if for the same amount, so like 3 teaspoons or a tablespoon of lemon juice, and a half a rennet tablet. That all sounds great. Just increase your temperature just a little bit, Laura. You might go a little bit higher in temperature, and that might help you. Try going to like 112 to 115 and see if that gets you some curdling. I don't have much experience with the rennet tablet. Actually, I don't have any experience with the rennet tablet, to be honest with you. Oh, I'll lose my curds. Yeah, my bowl is so full, I gotta pour some off. So Sarah, is it better to give it time to curd or to heat it? I would say heat it a little bit. Like, I've gone higher. I've gone up to 120, I think, or even maybe even a little hotter before, and so I'd say heat it up a little bit. That just kind of speeds the process up. To get all of my curd out. All right. All right, everybody. So what we're gonna do is, even for those of you who don't have any curds yet, is at this point, you're just gonna need to just put it set it aside. I mean, I'm tempted for some of you who are using just vinegar and lemon juice, who have no rennet, that you add even just a little bit more lemon juice to help that process. That's what I'm tempted to say to some of you. Again, some of my troubleshooting is going to be as best as it can be for it being a virtual class. But I say we just give it a little time. Let's everyone just set it aside, and let's make our tarts. No, we can't make our tarts yet because we don't have cheese. I mean, we have. Yeah, we can make our tarts because we're just gonna sprinkle some curds on it. Oh, those are good. Yeah, cool. All right, so I'm just gonna set mine aside to drain. No, don't. So Sarah, everyone, turn your heat off. On your cheese curds, you just need to turn your heat off. Oh, baby curds, they're starting. They just need more time for some of you. So once you've hit your temperature, don't go above 120, and then turn the heat off. And okay, and then here we go. All right. So hopefully you can see both me and both cameras now. All right. So what you need to do is don't go past 120, and then but either way, once you get to that temperature or whatever, turn the heat off, set your pot aside, and get your tart dough. Okay. Set your pot aside and get your tart dough. Just give it time, and just give it time. I'm gonna grab my tart dough, and we're gonna tart it up. Huh, did you hear that? Tart it up. Huh. It wasn't as funny for y'all as was for me. Where's my tart dough? There it is. Okay. Well, you ready? You ready, my little tartlets? Okay. Elaine, did you get some baby curds yet? Oh wait, small curds, like curds, but not much yet. Oh, I see it. You did. I saw that up there. Tablet. All right, Sarah, did you get any little? I almost said curd with a T. Think about that. I almost. Did you get any little curds yet? Little curds. All right. Not yet. Just give it some. Give it some. Sarah, did you tell me you? Okay, you used a Reddit tablet. The only other thing I can think about, Sarah, is for you is your Reddit tablets aren't good anymore. Reddit tablets, from what I've gathered in some research, they last a really long time, but they could still be. You could still get them brand new, and they could be really old. I don't know. I don't know because looks like you've done everything right. So I don't know exactly why you're not getting big curds just yet. All right, so everybody, don't strain your curds yet. Like Laura, you just started getting some. Just leave it there. Everyone, just set it aside. Only if you only want to strain it right now if you completely got separation. You can see in mine that looks like just water. You know, just kind of like a discolored water with and then all my curds. So if they're just starting, just give them a couple minutes. Let the process finish, okay? So just let the process finish. Everyone forget about it. Just set it aside. Just forget about it for a few minutes, and let's let miracles happen. I still believe miracles do happen. So set aside. Let's make tart dough. You ready? I need everyone on tart dough. I'm going in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Tart dough now. Dust your table with a little bit of flour. Just dust it. Leave those little piles hanging on nice and just leave them there. Okay? Just don't do that. Don't swipe them. Not good. Don't do it. Take your tart dough. Now my tart dough got really nice and cold. All right? So we're going to take the tart dough and we're going to knead it 3 times. So maybe 4. So fold it in half. press one time, turn the dough. That's once. Fold it in half, press one time, turn the dough. That's twice. Fold, press, turn. That's three times. I'm going four. Fold, press, turn. That is four. Then flip it over, dust a little bit more, and let's roll this thing out. So we're gonna roll. So I start in the middle, roll forward, middle, roll back, turn the dough. Start in the middle, roll forward, middle, roll back, turn the dough. Middle, roll forward, middle, roll back, turn the dough. Middle, roll forward, middle, roll back, turn the dough. Just kind of keep doing that until it gets bigger. Okay, so some of you will notice, and some of you know this already, that when we roll, see that little bit? I leave that little bit. Don't roll all the way off the edge. Bad news. Don't do it. And so Elaine, when you can't see, right now you should be able to see both cameras. So I want you to go up to the top right hand and click. There's a button at the top of the black screen. It says speaker view or gallery view. So you have the option right now to be able to change that. So make sure you can change that. And you should be on gallery view, which will show you all my cameras. So do that. Let me know in the chat. Now you're on an iPad, so got it. Okay, cool. All right. So that's where you want to be most of the time, because I like to talk to you while we're doing things. So gallery view is great so that you can see both cameras. So middle, roll forward, middle, roll back, turn the dough. Middle, roll forward, middle, roll back, turn the dough. I'm just going to keep doing this. Now this tart dough, you could actually cut this tart dough in half and make two. I'm just going to make one big tart for me, but you could cut this in half and you could make two very easily right now, because it's a lot of dough. So I'm going to go to, it's about a little bit bigger than my hand. It's probably about, it's what, 1.5 of my hand. All right, I also have a bench scraper. Bench scraper, that is 6 inches. So I'm about 10, 11 inches right now. That's big enough for me. And then we need, let's see, what do we have on your recipe for this guy? Don't cut yourself on that knife, Jeff. We have the tart. All right, so Parmesan. I don't have any mint today. So I have some Parmesan. So I have some Parmesan, the caramelized onions. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take caramelized onions. I'm gonna put them right in the middle. I'm taking all my caramelized onions. Okay. All my caramelized onions are going right in the middle. Spread them out a little bit. Then I'm gonna take some of my cheese curds. Hopefully some of you have some cheese curds, okay? So I'm gonna take some of my cheese curds. I'm just gonna take curds, put them straight in. But you know, I have this little bonus curd going on. I'm sorry that you don't have a TED, because if you had a TED, your life would be different. My life has changed since I've had the TED. Okay, and TED brought me cheese curds, so we're gonna use them. Okay, these are the cheese curds Ted gave me. Susie, what do you want me to show? Okay, what can you show yours? Are we talking about my cheese curds or my tart? Because you should be able to see my tart and me at the same time right now. Oh, cheese curds. Oh, these are good. Okay. All right, Susie, if you only see me, go up into the top right hand side and hit gallery view. All right, if you can only see me, go into the top right hand side of the black box and click gallery view. And you'll see both. Let me know. All right. All right. I've got cheese curds. Chad, I love it. Yep, nice and squeaky cheese curds. Here, I'll fake the squeak for you. Okay. Susie, it's got to be there somewhere because well, here, I'll turn it to this one for a minute for you, but you gotta find your gallery view. After ER, I was online, my menu changed. Or after. Okay. Well, there's my tart. I rolled it out. I got my onions, cheese curds on it, and y'all, I'm just gonna put a little Parmesan, and then we gotta keep moving here. So Parmesan on top. Okay. And then we need to fold it close. So I'm gonna fold mine. I'm gonna fold it again. I'm just gonna fold it around. This is kind of like my traditional tart that we do in some other classes. Works good for this one too. All right. Just gonna fold it like that. Leave a spot open in the middle. And then this is gonna go onto my baking tray. Y'all tracking? All right. So mint, if you've got mint, put it on there. I didn't see mint in my fridge, so which means my wife, she does all the shopping. I can't blame her, but I can blame her. But I didn't see any mint, so I'm gonna go. You know what I have? Completely different flavor, but I do have something green. So I found something green for a little bit of color. So I've got some green onions, and you won't know the difference because it's virtual. So I've got some, actually, but green onions go really well with this, actually. I'm gonna put some more on there. So green onions is going for me. You can do mint. What do you got? What do you got at home? I'm gonna go use that whole green onion. Why not? Because it sounds good to me. All right, so Susie, you found your gallery. Excellent. Excellent. So I can turn this spotlight off of here then, and oh. Okay, so now everyone should be able to see both of me. And so now I'm going to take a little olive oil, put a little olive oil just on my crust. Just a little olive oil, rub it in, put a little salt on my crust. It's going in the oven. Got to go in the oven. You ready? Set. Go. Setting a timer for 15 minutes. All right, everyone needs to have your tart in the oven like right now. Pretty quick, ASAP. I mean, we're doing good on time. It's 8 o'clock. But all right, so let's just try to like come together right now. Let's come together and see. You should have tart in the oven, and then everyone go check on your curds and get your curds straining. You know, draining. Like you should be doing this. If you still don't have any curds, send me a note in the chat. Okay. Hopefully, all of you now with a little bit of time for it just to sit there, you've gotten some curding going on. Let's say prayer. I'm gonna say prayer for you right now. Jesus, I pray that everyone has curds. Can we just make that miracle happen today? You've turned water into wine. You've healed people's sight. All those kind of crazy things. Can we get some? Can we get some cheese curds? I feel it's almost too small to ask you, but you say we can come to you with anything. So there you have it. Amen. Completely liquid, no curds. Okay. So Sarah, the only thing I can think for you then is you put your thermometer back in. Let's heat it back up, and you need to add more acid. You need, well, let's see. You had Let me go back up a little bit, Sarah. Use a rennet tabs, citric acid, 3/4 whole milk. Huh. I'm just looking at what you did, Sarah, and I don't know. The only thing I can think really is that your rennet tablets were bad. That's my first guess because you have everything else is right. Again, you had whole milk. I think you told me that earlier. So you had whole milk. I would say let's dissolve some more. Let's do another rennet tablet and see if that helps. So if you have another one, go ahead and do that. No curds. I do have vinegar. Should I try that? Okay, I'm down with that. You could try some vinegar. I would try some vinegar or a rennet tablet. That's what I would try. And I'm sorry that it's not working for you. There's got to be something else going on that I just can't figure out. And I just don't know. I just don't know. So I'll give you a minute to do that, and then for the rest of us, let's get ready to make some cheese. We're gonna get ready to finish. We're gonna get ready to like mix and stretch your mozzarella a few times. All right, so we have one. So we have two things to make out of it. Oh, we're doing good. We have two things to make left. All right, so cleaned up. Okay, Elaine, fantastic. So Sarah, I don't know if you saw Elaine, but she went to 125 degrees. I've known people to go to 180 degrees, which seems way too much. We do 180 degrees in the second stage of it. But so Sarah, go ahead and turn the heat up a little bit too. Let's see if that helps you too. Turn the heat up, and I mean, if you've got no curds now, a little extra heat won't hurt anything for you. And the rest of you, thank you for your patience, just kind of bearing with us. I mean, this is what it's about. It's just kind of solving problems, even though some of yours worked. Now we're learning from everybody else, like maybe how to troubleshoot and fix some stuff. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I'll save those for that. And that's going on. Then, all right. Well, I do need to keep going. Okay, I do need to keep going. And so here's my curd. I put some of it, again, some of it went on my tart. We're going to use what's left, right, for two things. So now you could take this and you could squeeze it out some. I don't mind it having a little water in it right now because we're gonna do some things with it anyways. So let me grab a bowl. All right, so I've got my bowl. I've got my curds. Now you can take these just like this, and you can take these curds just like this, and you can season them. You could put some, taste them, put some salt, some pepper, some herbs, and different things in it. You can just, like right here, you can just season this, and this can be done. This can be the curds. I mean, like you can have this. That's cheese. It's cheese. That's cheese curds, and you can eat it just like that. But we want to take it one step further, and turn it into like a pulled mozzarella. Right? So that's where you need your hot water. So I'm gonna go get my hot water. There's my hot water. Get your hot water. Slide mine over there. You're gonna need another bowl and a ladle. So I've got my hot water. Now it was just boiling. So that means it's probably, it's 206 degrees, but by the time we season it, it'll cool down a little bit. So what we're gonna do next is we're going to take about half of this, maybe a little bit more. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna take about half of this, maybe just a touch more than half. Yeah, I'm gonna say 2/3. We're gonna take 2/3 of this, put it right here in my bowl. So I have 2/3 of my cheese curds right here. Then you have this pot of hot water, and so I'm gonna take this pot of hot water and I'm gonna add some salt to it. I'm actually gonna add a lot of salt to it. And we're gonna season it. So we're seasoning it, we're gonna taste it. So if your water is bland, your cheese will be bland. So we want to make sure that your water is really seasoned well so that your cheese is seasoned well and it tastes great. A little taste. It's good, but it's not great. So I'm going to salt it some more. Might give it another taste. You want it to be salty like the sea. Like I always say, like you just were body surfing. I know a lot of you were body surfing. Like think right, body surfing, and then you just bit it and took a dive, and you're rolling around like under the water and just hoping you stay alive. Don't become shark food. And then you that's how you want the water to taste. All that salty water that went up through your nose, and yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what you want. So I'm really close. Mine's there. Now with all that stirring too, the water is cooled down. Now if your water is too hot, what will happen is it'll separate the milk, it'll separate some of the fat out of your curd, and you'll start losing pliability, and you don't want to do that. All right. So I'm at 189 degrees, 91 degrees. So it's going to cool down for another couple seconds while I'm doing that. What you see in the middle is a little pepper. There was some pepper mixed in with my salt, so that little black spot in the middle is just some pepper in there. Won't hurt a thing. Won't hurt a thing. And I gotta switch sides. Don't burn yourself, Chef Jeff. Don't do that. Okay. So there we have it. Now, before we do this, let's talk about what's about to happen. So what's about to happen is you've got your curds and you've got your hot water. And so we're going to use the hot water to start bringing the curds back together. So it's hotter than where it started. So it would be 180, 190 degrees, just definitely under 200. So if you don't have a thermometer, you bring your water to a boil, turn it off, stir it for a minute or two, and it's going to start losing temperature, and you should be in the range, okay? And then so typically it takes 2 to maybe 3 additions of the hot water. So you need your strainer back. Okay, so you need your bowl. If I can fit it all underneath my camera. Okay. So you need your bowl to strain it into again, right here, which I might leave cheesecloth in there just in case. And then you might put gloves on. Gloves are kind of helpful. Now, before we get into this, let's talk about the difference. Let's talk about the difference between this and like a dough. Well, actually, they're similar. They're similar. If you've ever kneaded a dough, okay, what happens when you knead a dough? The more you knead it, the tougher it gets, right? Cheese principle is the same. The more you knead it, the tougher it gets. And for fresh mozzarella, you want it to be nice and soft and stretchy and pliable. Now, again, we're using homogenized milk. If we get stretchy and like pliable, that's gonna be pretty miraculous. Okay, it really is. I'll probably make some cheese with some like non-homogenized, like straight from the cow cheese curds that we purchase. They're the best ever. Okay. All right. And so Susie, the water needs to be about 180 degrees, about 180 to 190 degrees. It doesn't have to be exact. It just doesn't need to be any. I wouldn't have any hotter than 190. So if it's hotter, if it's over 190, just stir. And the more you stir, what just happened? Hold on just a second, y'all. Okay, plugged in, plugged in. My phone just crashed with my other camera, so let me just give a second, and I'll get it back online. It's resetting right now. It needs just a minute. Somebody needed an extra minute. So what I was saying, I can just talk here. What I was saying is, the more you knead a dough, the tougher it gets. Well, your cheese is the same way. The more you knead the cheese, and the more you work with the cheese, the tougher it gets. But that's not what we want. We want nice, soft, stringy cheese. And we'll just do our best to get soft, stringy cheese through this process. But again, since we're not using like milk straight from the cow that's not been separated and homogenized and all that kind of stuff, then we're gonna be lucky to get that. So let me get right back into here. Meetings, start. Your patience as we had little technical difficulties. All right. So Susie, if your temperature is 155 degrees, you need to heat it up a little bit. We need to be 180 degrees, ish, around 180 degrees, everybody, for your water. So my water is now, like 178. Okay, 176, 178. It should be, I think I'm gonna be okay. So here we go. We're making cheese. I know a lot of you, thank you for your patience for a lot of you as we work through all these issues this evening. And so I'm going to take some hot water. I'm going to put it on top of my cheese. Okay, just barely enough to get to the top. Okay, just barely enough to get to the top. All right, and this first time, just mix the cheese up and let it soak up all of the heat. Okay, just let it soak up all of the heat. Now, my timer is going off, which means it's time to check the tart. My tart is nowhere near done, so I'm going to set it for another 10 minutes. Ten minutes is going on. Okay, so now the cheese, nothing happens usually on the first time. It's just soaking up the heat. All right, it's like you're sitting outside in the sun. You just got outside in the sun and you're just soaking up the heat. And so now we're going to pour off. Maybe. Looking at me like a champ. Okay. So I'm gonna pour off that lukewarm water. Just kind of drain that through. And then you put it all back into the bowl. Now, I'm going to do that again. So the second time, I might need to get my water a little bit hotter. The second time, it's going to be a lot hotter in here, though, because your cheese is starting to absorb the heat. And so it's starting to stick together a little bit. Again, oh, we're getting I got a little bit of stringing. Yours getting a little stringy. Look at that. You see the stringy in there? See that? Nice and hot. Yowzas. Where's my slotted spin? All right. So the second time, the cheese should start to stick together a little bit, like mine is. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Starting to. But again, it soaks up all the heat. Yes, Susie, we are pouring hot water over the curds. That is correct. So I'm on my second time adding hot water over the curds. Okay. And it's starting to stick together, starting to string. And I can put my hand in the water now, which means the cheese curds have soaked up all the heat from that water. And I need to pour off. I need to pour these guys off into some. I need to pour the liquid off, and we're gonna do it again. I'm not fooling with that cheesecloth anymore. Only reason I'm still using cheesecloth when I pour it off is just because my cheese curds are so fine. Typically they're a lot bigger, and so I don't have to worry about that. But I'm pouring that cheese curds off, pouring that liquid off. We're gonna do it again. I'm gonna do hot water again. Now this time the water will be really hot, again, because the cheese curds, they keep heating up along the way. And so that means there's less matter in here that can cool down the water. All right, so that's where I'll take and I'll use a spoon to pull it out. And look at that. Look. Oh yeah, is yours stringing along? I'm not just stringing you along, everybody. It's coming together. All right. So I can tell my water has cooled down too much. Okay, I'm gonna get some hot, ooh, but it is, look at that, it's starting to pull and fold. Okay, pull and fold. Let's get this going on for you. Where'd my cursor go? Get over here. Come on, wet fingers. Don't operate a mouse very well. Come on. My wife is gonna be like, there's cheese curds all over my computer. What'd you do? Nothing, honey. Nothing. Okay. All right. Look at that. My cheese curds are coming together really nicely. Pull and fold. Pull and fold. This is the best cheese curds this is the best mozzarella I've made so far from, just homogenized milk. But, I'm not gonna do more water just yet. I'm just gonna put it in there and just let it sit for a couple seconds and soak up the heat, right? Just soak up the heat that's still left in that water. And what I want you to know, what we're going to do next. So while it's soaking up the heat, we're going to get your pesto and your prosciutto. And what else? It is pesto, prosciutto. I think that's it. Your pinwheels. Yes. Pesto, prosciutto. That's it. Get that out because we're going to be using it while this is still hot. And you need a rolling pin. Pesto, prosciutto, and rolling pin. Those are the things that you need next. So let's just go ahead and get those out. Okay. And I'll need my thermometer again. Pesto is right here. So I have pesto. I do have a spreader, a offset spatula. My prosciutto is right here. I'll move my camera. I've got my stuff laid out. I'll move my camera when it's time so you can see. Just kind of setting up my station. But look at that. All right. So mine's not getting nice and smooth yet. And so I think I need a little bit. Oh my gosh, look at that. That is so nice. It's stretchy. Right? So my water temperature is not hot enough to get rid of like the cottage cheesy look. So I am going to go ahead and pour that off. Put it back here. And then I'm going to get some hotter water. Right. So from my pot back here, that's boiling. It's boiling away. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just adding some water from one pot. Okay. You should be able to see both cameras now. So I'm just adding some hot water from this one to the other pot. Just to get it hot again. Hotter. I want it to be closer to, you know. Oh. There we go. Okay, closer to that 180, maybe even 185 mark. Last time. You could just put your pot on the stove and just heat it up a little bit too. That would be fine. But I had this water here, and it sure as heck doesn't want to get hot though. 175, 176. What's this one at? Yeah, that's too hot. All right. Oh, I've got, just get my water a little hotter, take a splash of this one, and then this here. There we go. Now this would be pretty hot. So you'll pull it out. Just a spoon or something there, look at that, okay? Mine's starting to get a little smoother. Now take a little piece off and just eat it. That's pretty good. I'm gonna put that back in the water and just let it warm up a little bit more. Now it's gonna be my last time. It's starting to get smooth. It's gonna be the best as it's gonna be, right? For what we're doing. You're not gonna get like it's gonna still break a little bit. It's not gonna be perfect when you're doing it this way. All right. So I'm gonna check my tart, and then we're gonna make something. So my tart, it's still starting to brown a little bit. Let's check the bottom. I want my tart to be golden brown on the top and golden brown on the bottom too. So I'm gonna put in another 8 minutes. It's a big tart. All right, everybody, are you with me? Are we good? We're gonna start doing something with our pesto. All right. So while we're doing that, take your pot of water, put it back on the stove to get hot. So put it back on the stove to get hot again. So I've got my pot of water back on the stove. I've got my cheese curds right here. We're gonna be making it. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that one more time. So don't think you're just gonna like practice that once and that's it tonight. We're gonna do that one more time. But we need to make this pinwheel because a pinwheel is fun. So if anyone's having any problems, let me know. Now is the time. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna get your rolling pin ready. You're gonna pull your cheese out. All right. Yeah, I don't need to drain it. I'm just gonna pull it right out. So you see mine's in the hot water, all right? And because you have to get ready to work with it pretty quickly. So I'm gonna, I'll do it twice so you can see it twice. So I'm gonna take my cheese, I'm gonna cut it in half. All right. Ready? Let's do this. So I pull my cheese out, sit on the table, and then we gotta be gentle. And you're gonna roll it and roll it. Now we'll go ahead and spotlight this video to screen so you can see. Okay. So I'm gonna roll it out a little bit, roll it out. Now this one, will I be able to pick it up? Maybe, maybe. Okay, I'm gonna pick it up and turn it. It's super gentle. Oh, be careful. Be careful. That's about as far as I'm gonna go with it. I'm not gonna go too far. And now I'm gonna square it up. And get your pesto. We're gonna take prosciutto. Pesto first. Pesto. And smear it on top. Yes, yes, Susie, my curds, mine is still a little lumpy too. It's not as smooth as the curds that you bought from us when we did that one pizza class. These are still have a little bit of, they still have a little texture to them, but it tastes good. That's the best it's going to get with making it from homogenized milk. So mine came out super fantastic. The best, mine came out the best they've ever come out making it with milk. Just store-bought milk. Okay. So pesto on. Ooh, look at that, good stuff. You gotta kind of work quickly, and then you put your prosciutto on there too. The next one, we're gonna do a different trick. Now that I know how soft this cheese curd is. Here's my prosciutto. And you ready? Okay. All right, and so then we're gonna just take it and start to roll it up. Super gentle. Super gentle. Just roll from one end to the other. Super gentle. Okay. And just roll it into a log. I mean, I'm doing everything I can to keep mine from falling apart right now. That's just how it is. Right? And we'll do a little trick, I said, on the next one. So I rolled mine up into a log. Super gentle hands. Oh, but it came together. Hopefully yours came together too. Okay. And now I'm gonna grab a piece of plastic wrap. Put plastic wrap right here. Really close to it. And then roll it back onto the plastic wrap. Are y'all with me? Roll it back into plastic wrap. And then you're just gonna fold it over and roll it. And then I'm gonna pinch the ends and roll that pinwheel up and go put it in the fridge. Oh yes, go put it in the fridge. That's where I'm going with mine. I'm gonna show you one more time. Okay, y'all ready for the second time? The second time, here's a trick. So if you're having trouble, with your curds falling apart or anything like that, here's the trick, is take some plastic wrap. So dip your hand in the water and just put a little water on your table, on your counter, or whatever you're working. Just put a little water, just wipe it down. Then take your plastic wrap, put it down on the table. Okay? So plastic wrap on the table, a little water on the table, a little plastic wrap on the table, and then take your cheese curds out. Okay? Put them right in the middle. You're gonna roll it out. Roll forward, roll back. Okay, roll forward, roll back, roll forward, roll back. This one's gonna end up being sideways because I'll have to move the plastic wrap. And that's probably, ooh, it's still going decently, so I'm gonna just keep it going. Again, just being super gentle. I'm not even pushing on the rolling pin. The weight of the rolling pin is doing all of the work right now. Okay. And then pick my plastic wrap up and I'm gonna turn it. There. That position works better for me. And then I'm gonna take all the rest of my pesto. Put it on there. Everybody, I know your curds, everyone's curds are probably at a little different stage. And you may not be able to do this. Okay, let's see. You who have made it with just vinegar and lemon juice, I don't know how well or if it will come together. Like like mine has. I don't know that answer for you when you start heating it up. But mine has come together nicely. I'm gonna spread out the pesto. There we go. And then I'm gonna put the prosciutto on it. I don't have quite enough prosciutto for this whole thing. So I'm just gonna tear mine up and put pieces, which will be just fine. Look at that. Then I'll take my plastic wrap and I'm gonna pull this plastic wrap up a little bit to help get started. All right, just pull it up, and then tightly, little bits at a time, tightly roll, roll, and roll your little pinwheel up. Yeah. Okay, I know some of you are not having success, but some of you are. So in the chat, let me know if you're having some success. If you're tracking, if you're having the same success that I am. Okay, let me know. I'd love to know, and then we'll show these off in a little bit. Okay, so then once mine's all rolled up, and so I hear success. Excellent, I see success. Okay, so I'm gonna fold this over. I'm gonna roll it. Roll it. All right, and then again, I grab the ends, and you can tighten it up. This when you tighten it, you can roll one side. That helps kind of really, tighten it like a little sausage link. Okay, okay. And so I've got this nice tight little roll of mozzarella pinwheel, and we'll cut it in a little bit. I'm gonna put mine in the fridge and then check my tart because the tart is beeping. Oh, 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 oh. Looking good, y'all. Looking good. All right. So what I'm looking for in my tart is it's kind of golden brown on the top, and it's a golden brown underneath. Okay. It is golden. You can see it. It's golden brown. Barely you can see it, but it's golden brown underneath. So my tart is done. I'm going to set it aside just to hang out until we're ready to eat it. Okay, so yeah, let's do this again. And we're gonna make a different shape, and then we're done. Cool, cool. So get rid of your. I'm gonna get set up for it, and so this one is my bowl of water. I'm gonna go ahead and pour this off, and then go make some more. Get ready to do it again. All right. So there's my pot. There's my empty pot to drain. There's my cheese curds. Now, here is my pot of hot water. Okay. Now we're going to season this all over again. So I'm going to salt it. All right. So that's pretty good already. It had a base of some salt in it from the other one. All right, y'all. This has been a technical class. As you can tell, it's been a technical class for me and in my head as well. And so let's make this happen. I'm going to take my hot water. We're going to do this one more time. And again, the first time, I put the water on there. Whew, hot. Just. Now, the other thing too, which will probably make this a little bit work a little bit better the next time, is your cheese didn't have time to cure and to hang out and rest for a day. And so if you let it drain and then chill it for a day, it'll work even better. But we're going straight from it never even got cooled down from being curds to being turned into cheese. So sometimes that helps, right? And now that water is nice and hot. Woo. Okay, and again, I get a little bit of stretchy. Do you see that? Just a little bit. So once it soaks up all that, my water is maybe a little bit too hot. Let's give a stir on that one, release some heat. It's gonna go into my strainer. Back in the bowl. Sticking the cheesecloth, that's great. All right. Now, this is where we're gonna need our little bowl of water. Okay, we can put some ice in it as well, but cheese curds, we're gonna go hot water again. Number 2. Let that get hot. You can use a spoon, pull it out. Yowzers, that's hot, but it is coming together. Look at that. Mine is nice and, it's doing great. Doing great. Look how, ooh, look how stretchy that is. That's even, look at that. Look at that. Okay, the hotter the water, the hot. So let's see what my water temperature is, y'all. Where is my thermometer? There you are. Okay, same curds. Now these curds had time to rest, and I am at 192 degrees. So this little bit of hotter water is giving me the stretch. Look at that. That's even better than the first time. All right. Hallelujah. 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 That's all the songs you get tonight. Okay. I'm going to pour that water off. We're going to do this one more time. Look at that. That was, I mean, Again, I think rest has a lot to do with it. We're just kind of pushing right through. But nice. So we sit in there and get hot. Pull it out. Pull and stretch. Pull and stretch. Look at that. I'm going to turn my oven off real quick. I hear my oven still going. I don't need it anymore. Okay. Look at that beauty. It is way smoother than the first time. That is gorgeous for homemade cheese. Okay. Take a little taste. Oh, yeah. Look at that. It's actually getting shiny. Okay, this is the first, everybody. This is the absolute first. I've never had it get this smooth and shiny. Never. Not making it from homogenized milk. This. Everything I said to you, Susie, I take back. This hotter water, it rested a little while. It is, I mean, it is working just like the professional grade stuff that we get. Look at, I'm so amazed at what's happening right now, everybody. Wow, look at that. Flavor is good. It is smooth and silky. My water was much hotter this time around, much hotter than the first time. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to take it. All right. You're going to take it and you're going to take pieces. You can just take a finger, push it, put it in the bottom, push it through, push a little piece up, and you squeeze your hand together and make a little ball. Okay. Push it through, squeeze till it pulls it off. There's a ball. Squeeze. Look at that. Just put them in that cold water. They'll start to kind of harden them up. All right, so it's starting to break. I'm going to dip it in that hot water again. So the hot water is your friend right now. It helps you work with it a little bit better. So hot water is your friend. There we go. So squeeze it. Now, do you want to put something in the middle? Sure, I sure do, chef. Okay. So I'm going to take some cheese curd, push it in the middle, push it right there. All right, I'm going to set that one over here just so I know where it's at. All right, so we get it hot. Oh, yeah. You ever heard of burrata? Where they put cream in the middle? I don't exactly know how they did that one, but I would say something similar to what we're doing right here. So look, piece of cheese, pushing it through, push it through, and clamp it off. That's bonus. I wasn't planning on showing y'all that tonight. So that was bonus. This is like the double curd. So cheese curd. What else could you put in there? I don't know. What do you want to put in there? You want to put some pesto if you had some? That would be awesome. Do you want to put some nuts in there? Sure, go for it. Do you want to put some chocolate syrup in there? I mean, maybe. Maybe. All right. What else do you like with cheese? I'm just doing a couple more of these. Good. Dip it in the hot water. Ow, it's hot. Ow, ow. Oh, it dropped it. Just keep softening it for me. Now I'm just gonna do a few more balls. Drop them in the ball. Drop in the water. Got it. Eat the rest. Okay. Let's put all this together. Grab a plate. You're going to need a cutting board and your knife. Plate, cutting board, knife, clean up your area. Tart. And what else I'm missing? Tart. I need this and this. So you have your cucumber tomato salad. Now you put some vinegar on it. If you don't mind, I want to be able to share this with my wife, and she can't have the vinegar. So can you imagine that for my part? Like, put some vinegar on it. Put a little salt, pepper on your tomatoes and cucumbers. Okay. So just imagine there's vinegar on mine. Just do it to your liking. We have our tart with the cheese curds on it. We're having like a little appetizer plate, kind of, is what this is going to look like. So there's some tart. Then you take your cucumber tomato salad. That's what the cheese balls are for. You just put them in there. You know what? We're just going to go ahead and put the surprise cheese balls in there too. They all get mixed together. So you have your cucumber tomato salad. Now there's ways to make the balls smaller, so they kind of match the size, but that would take a while. Okay, and so we have that. Let's just take a little taste of this tart and see how that came out. Oh, that's really good. Why there's no one here to share with right now. Here's my crostinis. And oh, just open. Where's the end? There it is. Unroll your pinwheel really gently. Okay. Now with your pinwheel, be real careful cutting it, right? It really, if it sat in the fridge for like a day, it would get harder because it would chill more. But you want to, don't press on it. Slide your knife. Slide the knife. So slide. Wipe it off so it doesn't look messy on the edge. Slide. Pinwheel. Pinwheel. So you have your pinwheels, your salad, and your tart. Now, isn't that good? Pinwheels, salad, and tart. Okay, so you need your sauce. Look at mine. Beautiful. Just needs to stir. Okay, just needs to stir. And then you can drizzle that on whatever you want. Now, I also have some balsamic. Where are you, balsamic? I also have some balsamic syrup, which I could put on. All right. Oh man, that's pretty amazing. At the end of that pinwheel. Okay. All right. Love you guys. God bless you. Be safe out there. And I'll see you maybe Saturday or sometime soon.